Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. Y'all know what it is. It's me, your boy Trey, and we're First Formation Morning Sports Talk. So come on and fall in with us this morning as we got another day, episode, 2 hours, formation. Let's get it. Form up. I'll give y'all a chance to get into the comments so we can get this show on the road. As always, it's always a pleasure being here with y'all. So come on, let's get it. I got some things to do. Got some statements of a conversation we had yesterday as it started to dip into a little more. So yes, yes, yes. So let's get ready. I would say get your popcorn, but that's not what we're going to do yet. Come on and fall in with us. Let's go. Yes. Let's go. Let's go. So definitely, I look to bring up a conversation we was having yesterday, as we was having a conversation in reference to who is the all-time top 10. Actually, the question was, is Steph Curry in the all-time top 10 now? Of course, it sparked a little debate. You had a conversation, but that question, one of the individuals in the chat carried that question to this personal page, and then it sparked some conversation in which I asked a couple of questions in which we get into, and I give you what the response was to that question, and maybe they continue to spark a little bit this morning. If not, we'll keep it pushing. But interaction is king around these parts. So come on, fall in as we get ready to start into it, talk to it, and let's go. So, of course, as we know, NHL action is going on. Stanley Cup is up for grabs for as Colorado Avalanche and the Tampa Bay Lightning are engaged in battle. I don't know if you actually call it engaged in battle when you look at the situation because Colorado is doing the thing in there as opposed to, as you know, it was game four that was played last night. Colorado took care of business, able to take a 3-1 series lead over the Tampa Bay Lightning as Colorado got the W in overtime, winning 3-2. If you've been following the NHL Stanley Cup Finals, of course, you know their first game went 4-3, Colorado won. The second game was a shellacking as Colorado got the W 6-0. Um, the Tampa Bay Lightning came back in game three to hold off the opportunity to go down 3-0 with a shellacking of their own with a 6-2 W. But last night, as I stated, Colorado got the W in overtime, winning 3-2, now up 3-1. Tampa Bay has an opportunity to hold off on the gentleman sweep if they are able to get a W on tomorrow night. If not, then we'll be crowning a new champion, the Colorado Avalanche, back like they never was gone before, and celebration in the Denver area. So check that out, especially all you NHL fans, hockey fans, as it's getting ready to come to a close. And then the only thing prevalent would be off seasons and MLB. Of course, this was a shout out to the New Jersey Generals of the USAFL as they have got a clean sweep. I'm telling you, a clean sweep in for the MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, as well as the Coach of the Year in their inaugural season uh, in the USL, the re-image USFL. What's going on? That's the hotness. Of course, I know they play. I think their semifinal rounds. I have to get a little more information, but I think they're due to play their semifinal rounds this weekend, as the USL is coming close to their close of the season, in which they're crowned their inaugural reboot season champion. But into what is usually our main vein. Actually, you know what? I want to go a little bit different here. Hold up for a second. We ain't did no talking in reference to them ladies in a second. Let's check up what's going on with the WNBA. As you all know, we always shout out the lovely ladies of the sports. Speaking of that, if Kim Green, y'all know Kim has been on the show a couple of times before. Kim Green, MG33. But as we know, Kim said she was taking a break away from coaching, somewhat retired. But of course, as we know, anything else for the most part, those things in which we love, we cannot get away from. And Kim has reinstated, has go ahead and got back on that sideline as she is coaching uh, a summer in the summer league. I have to get all that information, or maybe even get her back on the show so she can talk about it herself. But she is back on the coaching sideline doing the things in which she loves. Kim, you know what I'm saying? Shout out. Hopefully you everything goes as planned. We'll have to talk about it. Well, like I said, getting it back. We want to sit up and continue to and give for one on everything. Of course, yesterday the WNBA had one game in rotation. Uh, that being the Liberty took on the Connecticut Sun. Connecticut Sun currently 12-6 after they take the L to the Liberty, who is now 7-10, losing 81-77. The Liberty was led by, of course, Stephanie Dolson's 16 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. Sabrina Ionescu's 11 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists for a double-double. 11 points from Maureen Johannes, 11 points, 2 rebounds, 5 assists. And Natasha Howard, 14 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists as a contribution. The Suns' leading scorer, Courtney Williams, 16 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. 12, three players in with 12 points apiece being Jonquel Jones, um, Brianna Jones, and Dawana Bonner, all 12 points apiece. Jones, 11 rebounds, 2 assists. Brianna Jones, 1 rebound, 1 assist. And Dawana Bonner, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. And then, of course, Natisha Hyman's 11 points, 2 rebounds, and 1 assist bring up the rear. As we all know, this WNBA season lasts for is a 25 game season in which we're just a little over the halfway mark. Another thing, as we know, the WNBA tends to go and doesn't do it traditionally like what we have known and seen. As they go, the season goes, as the winners go, or people lose, people win. They redo the brackets, and basically the best matchups are put in place as opposed to a bracketed system. What's good this morning, Zach? How you doing, sir? First Sergeant. Just speaking in existence. That's all. Uh, what's good? What's good, Anthony? Good morning, sir. Good morning to you. So, as we know, I like to call it the shift. As I like to call it the shift, there's a shift that's about to go on, that's about to happen. As we all know, the NBA draft will be held tonight. It's Thursday. It's that day, as Bishop would say, the weekend eve. Um, but yes, the NBA draft will be held tonight, in which we'll be it starts, in my opinion, the shift in the balance of what's going on because a lot of things happen. People jockey in position to get what they perceive or what they perceive as their best draft pick. Of course, in that being said, you have a lot of things that go on. You might have some players of old that get moved or get positioned to another, get switched to another team, or need to be released. You bring in new talent. Of course, there's some talent that wasn't looked at that becomes undrafted, and then they sit, and then someone else goes finds them, and now an undrafted talent becomes one of the greatest players in the history of a team, organization, even maybe the NBA. Hey, stranger things has happened. So in that, of course, it all begins tonight. Well, let's just say this. It begins tonight for the 2022-23 season. And then the game just rewinds, comes the next year, and we get the same thing over and over again. It's, saying sports are fantastic, and they're definitely. So, like I was saying, all of it starts to happen. one of the key things in which you talk, and which starts to become the rhetoric, in my opinion, when we start to talk about championship. Basketball is a game of runs, as we've seen um, a couple of times during the NBA championship series. Basketball is a game of runs. Sometimes there's a couple of runs or game of runs in other sports, but definitely basketball is, especially with the constant up and down, back and forth, back and forth. So, with that being said, uh, a conversation always comes up in reference to the teams in which are put forth to play championship teams, the ones that after they will get their W. Of late, the conversation has always been, or the rhetoric has always been, we're going to run it back with the same team. Um, so that brings up a question this morning: is that feasible to try to run it back with the same team? Especially in the case with the Golden State Warriors, do they need to run it back with the same team? Can that be advantageous for them to run it back with the same team? As we know, or it has been stated and talked about, their core has been the main reason in which running it back and getting these W's and starting to solidify the Golden State Warriors as our current and recent dynasty in the NBA. Hasn't been from running it back. If they run it back, as GM Bob Myers stated, they would look to run it back. If they were to run it back with the current team, will that potentially be enough to win another NBA championship? As we talked before, at least as I've spoken and put forth my 2 cents, I just don't think that that would be feasible for them. I think that other things going on, they wouldn't be in the position that they were to hoist a trophy, or it would have been a little bit harder. Of course, in a little bit later, we'll talk about the comments that James Harden basically made in reference to um, the Golden State Warriors win. Is that prevalent? Is that the truth? I don't know. And that's the key thing. That last word in your comment, well, partially the last word in your comment, Anthony. Healthy is the idea. This key in the case in which you look at it. So for the most part, Golden State was healthy, or their main core of players was healthy for the most part during this run. And of course, with some different players add the player pool. Um, Gary Payton II came back in the nick of time. Um, Wiggins was healthy during the campaign. Steph went down and came back. Clay was there. So it's like during that time frame, of course, they were healthy for the most part. But other teams, when you take in consideration, they didn't have their top player or players for the most part. But of course, as I always say, it's the NBA. Everyone is a professional, and next man up. You got to do what you got to do. Wield yourself for the most part. But I definitely like to hear your comments. Golden State, General Manager Bob Myers expects to try to run it back with the same players, as we know, players like Poole, Porter, um, Gary Payton II are potential to be free agents or restricted free agents this year, in which there has to be some prices matching. I did see a brief comment in which, hey, good morning, Jackie. Good morning. How you doing? Hope you're enjoying your day. Um, I did see some comments in which it was stated um, that Gary Payton II is looking for 15 to 20 million. So if someone's willing to play that on the market, hey, in my opinion, that's how Jeremy Grant got away from Denver. In which, interesting enough, Jeremy Grant we'll be talking about a little later, uh, momentarily, actually. But for the most part, we that's what it came out to be, or it was going to be. Like some of these players are going to get top dollar or get what their worth is expected at this particular time for them to grow off of. So uh, it could be it start to become a little bit hard for them to go. Of course, they have the opportunity to bring in more talent in Golden State, being that they have a couple of picks tonight, unless they're willing to trade some of those picks or move some of the players. You got to take into consideration their bench. They had three rookies or second year players that didn't play or played sparingly. That in Moody, Wiseman, and Kaminga. So they still have talent, particularly top tier talent, that's sitting on their bench. So is it possible for them to play or run it back? If given the opportunity for these players to play, are they going to show something where it's like, wow, the game just rewinds in Golden State? It remains to be seen. Um, but I think in all in the conversation, I think there has to be an opportunity, a situation where those players you're going to have to make a few changes. I know they can't expect Andre Iguodala to continue to play or sit on the roster. I mean, unless he's becoming the new Adonis Haslam, where you just have an old head that sits on the roster and you have the option to put them in, but basically they're there for to help our coaches from a player standpoint and the mentor from a player standpoint. If that's the case, 15th man. Mm, I agree. I agree, Zach. I agree. They definitely need. In any case, I look at it. No matter where you are, when you get when your ticket when your name is called, you got to be ready to go. You got to contribute in some way. Sometimes points isn't the best way to contribute. It might be getting a rebound here and there, locking down a player, uh, keeping a player off the boards, box outs, and all that type of stuff. But when your number is called, you got to be ready to answer the call and do something one way or another. Sometimes it may not show up in the stats. Okay, see what Ben do. Ben should be healthy. COVID go on, has a point. Well, he just came off the back surgery, so I'm very sure he's recovering. Hopefully, he working out, strengthen that area, um, just working around his all round game at this point, so that way he's ready to go and good to go when it comes to the season. Next season, of course. But like I was talking about, as we keep on talking about healthy, I like to know what you guys think about this comment. Is a meme, of course, a meme. I'm not sure. I didn't get a chance to check the source, but for the sake of conversation, it was stated James Harden has something to say about the Golden State Warriors. Is that they need to be a healthy team. Let's not fool ourselves. No Morant in the semis, no Kyrie in 2015, no Kawhi in 2017, no CP3 in 2018. Those are the facts, as it said by James Harden. So let's remove just saying James Harden's name in general because I cannot confirm or deny if that was his quote. But in the aspect of looking at it, because people will troll, but in the aspect of the conversation, is this prevalent? Is this cap or not? Like, do we have a situation to where Golden State has beaten these teams when they was lacking? In that case, it could go for anyone, but Golden State just happened to be the team for a team of topic. Do you see a situation to where would Golden State have beaten, um, or could they have won versus Houston when Harden and CP3 was basically cooking and had their backs against the wall? Could um, San Antonio have got another championship as opposed to Golden State when right before Zaza Pachulich and Kawhi Leonard had the situation which caused Kawhi Leonard not to be able to play the rest of the series, and Golden State was able to come back and win the series. Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving both out during their first meetup with Cleveland. Would that have been a different series? And would we be talking a whole different way? Would we be looking at Golden State being basically the Buffalo Bills of the NBA if that was the case? It all saying Ja, same thing. If Ja had been healthy and been able to play, would Golden State have even been hoisting the trophy today? I mean, in this a couple of weeks ago, a couple of days ago, all conversations, saying. In any case, y'all know me. I'm happy that Boston didn't get the W. Rewind it. and try it again. But I do ask that question and wonder. Let me see. Sorry about Anthony. Let's see. Warriors need people, Poole and Wiggins in the draft, and in the draft, and man, they will get great to load off Curry and Green. That's not going on. We know that's not happening no time soon. I think Curry's going to end his career in Golden State. He's going to pull another Kobe, or Kobe, Dirk. I'll give you that. I'll give you that, Anthony. I'll give you that. And like you said, it's not the fault of the players for that most part, or the organizations that the players can stay healthy, but it is the organization's duty to put players on their team that can play, that basically gives them an opportunity to win when those players go down. A lot of times we hear the conversation of build a team around a player, but how prevalent is that when you look at the fact that every player has the possibility of going down, or something happening that puts it in a whole that sets a whole different dynamic for the organization. You want to have those players that's around. I think that's what, for the most part, what LA tries to do by bringing in or doing whatever they got to do to bring in so many quote unquote top tier players. So if something happens to one, you still have another or two to pick up the torch and continue to go. In that case, it just so happens that a lot of the players which we've been selected lately can be a little injury prone, and don't and sometimes aren't consistent with their play, or correction, their health, which ultimately hurts because you pay the players so much money. You have to use minimums to build the roster around them, and youth, or just youth in general, with smaller rosters, and um, sometimes it can be a crapshoot. But in any case, we will see. At this point, Golden State are the champions, and so we have to hail them as such, and keep it moving until next year, to where they have an opportunity to defend their title throughout the course of the season, get back to the chip, and win another one. Their fifth, if that is able to happen. LA can win their 18th. Boston to get their 18th. It remains to be seen. Uh, So of course, as like I was saying, you got the NBA draft that's coming up fast and furious. Do the show tonight, 7 o'clock Central Standard Time, 8 o'clock Eastern. In that case, you've already seen a couple of things. A lot of times when these trades go down, it's not about the player, it's about the assets, the other assets in which it can get. In this case, Portland acquires forward Jeremy Grant from the Detroit Pistons. Uh, the Pistons also Portland also receives a player correction, a pick swap, as they get Detroit's 22nd round pick, and which is, I think, the 46, and they swapped the 46 for the 36 in the second round tonight. Of course, Detroit gets the 22nd round pick swap, the 25th first round, which is the top four projected or protected, 25th, the 2025 second round from Milwaukee, and the 2026 second round pick, which will be the greatest from the New Orleans Pelicans or the Portland Trailblazers during that time frame. So not too bad, I guess. If it's more of a youth movement, there was no other current player that was transferred. Transition. Now Jeremy Grant will have an opportunity to go help to potentially the um, bolster the offense for Portland with Damian Lillard. Of course, Portland will have all the opportunities to pick up players, pick up more talent. Free agency is coming about, as well as undrafted free agents, waiver wires, and all that. So Portland looks to potentially build a team that can be competitive in the Western Conference. Small market teams always have it the worst, and I commend Dane for staying put, not trying to force his way out, and basically trying to build something there. Commendable, Dane. I don't know if it's the smartest, but definitely it is very, very commendable indeed. Um, Charlotte. We talked about Charlotte before. Matter of fact, we talked about Charlotte a couple of times since Friday, in which Charlotte currently will be without a coach heading into the draft tonight. Charlotte has three selections, two in the first round, and then they have one that is second round, high second round, in which they're without a coach. That has been conversations, Anthony, in which we get to that. That would be. Do you think that would be the most advantageous, however, to have the free agency period prior to the draft? Like, I'd like to know your thoughts and your reasoning behind why they should have it. What's good, Ron? What's good? What's good? So you have that. So with that, the Charlotte like I said, Charlotte will be without a coach. As we know, Coach Kenny Atkinson's decided to elect not to go the to become the coach of the Hornets and stay in Golden State. With that being said, now he is caused a quandary, I guess you could say, as now Michael Jordan. What's good, brother? How you going? What's going on, Bishop?
Hey, what's going on, man? WGL, how y'all doing, man? Sorry for my tardiness, man. I got a wedding to attend to this weekend, so I had to go make it out to the. I had picked up my clothes yesterday, and the alterations wasn't where they needed to be, so I had to get them first thing. There you go, WGO, WGO. You already know, and yeah, so I had to be there first thing this morning and make them fix them alterations because yeah, the wedding is Saturday, and I can't.
Are you gonna make it? You gonna have to put on a
Not
put on,
yeah. So I had to take him back up there. I had to try him back on, show her what the problem was, fix it, and she says she'll have it ready by tomorrow. So if it ain't right by tomorrow, we stay in there all day tomorrow to get it done. So it is what it is. I gotta, it is. Hey, they gotta do what they gotta do. But the wedding is on Saturday, and I'm in the wedding. It would be different if I wasn't in the wedding, but
mm-hmm.
I'm in the wedding, so my stuff gotta be right. So
Mm. Uh,
what we talking about? What's good? What's going on?
I was just talking about how you have a situation to where tonight, of course, we know that tonight's the draft,
All right,
and the Charlotte Hornets are currently without a coach going into because they're still looking for a coach. They hired Kenny Atkinson. Kenny Atkinson decided I'm not going to coach, and so that's
oh,
what we was
he
talking
did.
about
He
yesterday.
decided not to coach.
Yeah, he's not. He's not. He's gonna stay. He's decided not to take on the head coaching position. He's gonna stay as an assistant
Oh,
coach with Golden State.
I
So
didn't. Okay.
so now, of course, that's what the conversation we was having yesterday when we was talking about Coach Dan and Tony getting the second opportunity, and if I was a coach, if you was a coach, would you
Right.
uh, accept
Remember
the
that.
opportunity the second time? So that's where they at now. So of course, like I said, Michael Jordan um, is in charge, is basically on help at the
You
helm
think
of trying
Michael
to
Jordan?
find a new coach.
You think Michael Jordan may have had some type of influence on why he may not want to take that job because of what people say about Michael Jordan? Behind closed doors. His former teammates, coaches. You know what I'm saying? Do you think that might have had any
I
influence on him maybe not wanting the job, or why they haven't found a coach as of yet?
So I don't think that because I'm very sure Coach Atkinson thought about it and everything and thought about. So what I did see on what it hasn't been said specifically why Coach Atkinson elected not to
Take it.
coach, but
Mhm.
it has been said. I did see something in reference where Coach Kerr said it might have just been a situation where to go and interview and make the decision in the middle of them playing in the finals. Uh, Once he got a chance to sit and really think about it, it might have just been too much, a little overwhelming to do that. In which he decided, because now you're looking at I have to move my family uh, from Golden State uh, to Charlotte and all that type of stuff. He has teenage kids, so they're in school. As we know, sometimes that could be a detriment when you pull them out of a situation to where they're kind of like stable in their situation, and then you put them in
Especially
place.
moved
So
from California all the way to Chicago. I mean to
yeah,
Charlotte.
a completely different. That could be a culture shock. So
Right. Right.
yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Is Michael Jordan the next Jerry Jones? He just wants a yes
Mm.
man. I don't know.
So that's a good question, Anthony.
We yeah, we haven't heard anything about Michael Jordan being,
As an
you know,
owner, yeah.
as an owner. We have it. We've heard all the stories about Michael Jordan as a player and how he was in regards to being what they say he's a complete asshole when it comes to a teammate. Some have said he's a complete asshole when it comes to a teammate, which I'm sure kind of transfers over because I feel like if you're an asshole as a teammate, you're probably an asshole in a leadership kind of like position in a way. I would think, I don't know. Help me out, Trey. I,
I believe I know
I,
I am. So,
so
so that's like
that part. So you know what I'm
yeah. So
saying?
you know, so it's like me. So
So,
yeah, but but sometimes I'm so torn in this project when we talk about that type of stuff because again, quote unquote, being that type of person, when the people label you as a hole necessarily isn't necessarily always bad in my opinion. Not just because
mhm,
I kind of like see myself in that time in that way. It doesn't necessarily mean bad. It just means, in my opinion, just means that that person has the gall to make certain decisions, those hard decisions, and move in that vein. And,
mhm,
and that's what the moniker that comes upon them. And sometimes it's not the worst. Sometimes it's conforming individuals don't conform
right,
to that type of thought, or they do, or they're just a little stagnant to, and that's where the divide comes. And then there also going to be sometimes be in that mindset, you can be a little overpowering, overwhelming, and
mhm,
sometimes you have to sit back and think, it's like, is this the best avenue in what I'm doing?
mhm.
And that could be, maybe that could be what's going on with Jordan, but it's clear from what I was reading this morning that he is searching for the next head coach, not the GM. He is,
He is
and
personally searching
yeah,
himself.
he's personally doing it because he's doing the interviews and stuff like that.
Man,
But I'm very sure
can
in
you
any case,
imagine being a coach for another team, or not even being a coach, just being a coach, period? And even if you're not coaching another team, but having to go interview for the coaching position in front of Michael Jordan, the GOAT, the greatest of all time.
even let's think about this even more so, not just the fact that he's Michael Jordan. What if he's interviewing you and you were a player that played with or against him?
Ooh.
And
Bro,
he, you know what I'm saying? So those type of things
talk
come
about
into play.
pressure. Oh my God, bro. Because you can imagine the type of questions and
Oh, that would be me.
situations
I would,
that he would be putting you in, or so in regards to, he might give you some situation because of course he's gonna do a thorough um
yeah,
um
he's gonna do due diligence, due
yeah,
process.
yeah, due process to do a thorough check on your background and how much experience you have and so forth and so on. And then if he knows you, of course he's gonna put that in consideration. He's gonna talk to form
Good, bad, or
opinion.
indifferent.
Right. Yeah, all of that. So that's a huge, man. You talk about going for an interview. Good Lord, bro. That's
But
a
see,
whew.
but it's so even in this case, like we still been talking about, like for Charlotte, in my opinion, this is set. This makes it an unusual situation because now you have, like you said, Michael Jordan is searching. Usually, that's something that comes with the GM, and maybe the GM double backs and says, "Hey, owner, this is what we're looking at. This is what we have. We have these. Would you like to be a part of the interview process?" Yada yada yada.
Mhm.
Seemingly, that's different. Jordan has picked up the mantle. I find the head coach, which kind of seems backwards a little bit, especially in this. I mean, Mitch Kupchak is the current GM for the Charlotte Hornets, in which now Mitch Kupchak is going to be the person selecting the players in the draft, in
In
which
the
they
draft,
have, yeah,
right.
in which they have three selections tonight, two in the first, one in the second, and a high second. So now you have Mitch Kupchak that's going to basically be doing this, but you're doing it without any type of input from a coach to what type of players that he might want, saying, on this roster.
Mm-hmm.
If the coach has his philosophy, if he agrees or disagrees with the chemistry, potentially from a standpoint of scouting the player. Basically, any coach that comes in is being handed a team as opposed to having any input on that team for the most part. So I think, honestly, I think it's going to be Jordan and Kupchak that's doing the selections.
Picks tonight.
Yeah, that's, saying. Of course, I think Kupchak is going to run it past Jordan and so on and so forth. I'm very sure Jordan is hands on with it, being who he is. I know, I'm not sure. I wonder, is he hands on
So why
in
do
the
you feel like he as an owner is looking for a coach instead of the GM?
Oh, it was reported that he's doing that. What's going on? He's personally
But
looking
why
for it.
do you feel like that?
Oh, why?
Yeah, why isn't the
That's,
GM
I
looking
don't
for it?
know. I don't know. Is it because he
Is it
doesn't
no
believe in
faith?
the
Right.
GM?
Is it
Yeah,
no faith in the GM? Like,
I mean, he
because
hired him at the end of
right,
this. I mean,
that part,
yeah.
but not only that, but it brings the question, like you saying, okay, if he has no faith in the GM to hire a coach, how is he gonna have faith in the GM to pick talent tonight? You
I'm
feel
trying
me?
to think because Mitch Kupchak used to be the Los Angeles Lakers general manager
He had
after
the history of
Jerry West,
GM.
but he had it
Did
went
he
a
get
little
fired?
left.
Did he get fired, or did he, or he did?
Yeah, Jenny Butts cleaned house.
Mm,
That was the one when her brother and them they was all doing it. They started like Mitch Kupchak was the reason why Luol Deng got signed all that money to
ah,
come play in Los Angeles. And
guys,
then so
see,
so
there goes that track record that I'm talking
and
about.
then, yeah, so it was. I was wondering why. Now I'm not gonna say Mitch Kupchak was the worst GM,
Right.
but later in his years in LA, it started like it was some questionable moves and questionable dealings and stuff like that. Hence the reason Jenny Buss decided to take responsibility, take control of the trust, take control of the team. She downgraded her brother to a different role,
Mhm.
and Mitch Kupchak got the axe. But
Almost like the so somewhat similar to the role or in the movie um Hustle. How old girl took over for her brother because her
yeah,
brother wasn't doing nothing right. So yeah, same kind of same
yeah,
story.
well, I'm very sure it's written from that from the
Mhm,
same. Yeah,
mhm.
so it's that type of stuff in which, like I said again, Mitch wasn't the worst. I'm very sure. I'm trying to think where did I think he had some good years in between that, but of course you got to take in
Was he
consideration.
there for any of the championships?
Yeah, hell,
Okay.
he was a champion himself as a player. Like he
Player. I
led.
know I
Yeah,
know I remember
yeah,
Upshare as a player, but I didn't know if he
yeah.
was there in LA when y'all won the
Yeah,
championship.
yeah, yeah. He was there, but he was there with. But of course, like the championships that were chosen wasn't chosen by Mitch Kupchak. That
Ah,
was Jerry West. Like Jerry West brought
different.
in
That's the difference.
Kobe and all that type of stuff. So Mitch
Yeah.
Kupchak was there the
So
later
he wasn't
years.
responsible for any championship. He was there, but he wasn't responsible for
So I
any.
won't say he was a champion because I think he was just
Or he had little input.
he brought in Paul Gasol. So you know what I'm saying we got
Okay.
two after that. So it's so
Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So that type of stuff. So I won't say he was. That's why I say I can't say that he was bad
Mhm.
altogether because he did pick up the mantle after Jerry West left, and
Mhm.
as we did win championships after Jerry West left,
Mhm.
in which it wasn't players in which Jerry West brung in. So but of course, like I said, the later years, and you can sometimes, like we talk about, is how much do we hold as that to be the present? What you did in the past, like did you learn? And
Right.
so it remains to be seen. But I was skeptical when I seen he got hired. I was like, I wonder what Mike's seen. I think he was a North Carolina guy too,
Ah,
honestly. So it
right.
might be an alum type thing.
Type of thing.
Hmm.
Kind of loyal to the North Carolina people. I
Hmm.
I can feel that. I can feel that. Oh, okay. Well, I
What
mean,
do you mean?
like I said, it just it yeah. Now that you said that they don't have a coach, and Michael's being the one in spearheading the coaching position, it just makes me wonder about the general manager and the picks for the night. Because when it's all said and done, if things don't go well for Charlotte this upcoming season, the 22-23 season, in regards to these rookies coming in, all fingers gonna be pointed at Mike. All fingers gonna be well, of course, and depending on who the coach is too. Or, you know what I'm saying?
Well,
Or,
I would hope that they don't hold the coach accountable for that. I mean,
no, not for the
there
pick,
has to be
not
some,
for the
yeah,
pick. Right,
yeah.
right,
There has to be
the pick.
some. There has. I would think any coach they bring in, they have to give them the opportunity to be like,
Right.
yo. At least if I was a coach, I'd be like, it
Yeah.
would need to be in my contract that, hey, even one, I'm going to get a full. I mean, I don't know if that's fair to say, but I would be looking at like at least whatever the contract is that we sign. I need to be at least get the opportunity to serve that, play out that contract. Like if I get a 4 year contract, if I'm not looking good in year 2 or 2.5,
Yeah.
don't ask me. Give me opportunity to build my program because I'm coming in legitly with whatever y'all are handing me, and I have no say
No say so.
whatsoever
Right. I'm
in,
coming into
you know
what
what I'm
y'all
saying. So
already built.
I'm basically a year
Right.
behind already to being able to have to work with what you're giving me. So
And how long do you feel is a significant amount of time for a coach to kind of get his feet planted into an organization in which he's just coming into to get results?
Ooh. I think on average, at least your first, just like we do in the military, your first term, and
Okay,
like you know, say you look
3 years,
at it,
four
yeah,
years.
3 to 4 years, 5 year, whatever your contract is, whatever your contract you can get for the first time around is what you sit up and push out. Because, like you said, it could be hard, man. It could be hella
Yeah,
hard. So at least give me an opportunity to get that out the way. And if I and I legitly, of course, everyone wants job security, but I legitimately figure out I'm not cut out to do this. I'm
mhm,
not cutting the mustard. It's not my time yet, or whatever case like that. And I can gracefully bow out, or go to you and we can have a conversation. Our exit meeting, we can have a conversation, and you just be real with me. That's what I want. Just be real with me and be like,
right,
you're not this, that, the third. And
right.
then I'm very sure I could come back and be like, this is what I feel like I'm not getting, or this is where we're at with it. So it
Mhm.
could be a dialogue back and forth, and maybe I bring up a point to where you're like, okay, and then you go and you put forth what you can.
Mhm. Okay. That's fair. I mean, you know what I'm saying, that's I feel like that. I feel the same way. That's fair. You know, don't come in here and don't bring me in and try and fire me after year one or two because you're not getting the immediate results in which you expected. Because again, you bringing me into an organization where I had no say so. I'm going off of what you already have established, so I have to do what I got. I got to work with what I had, and so therefore I need time to be able to, you know, stir my stir my cake batter to make a
Hmm.
perfect cake. You know what I'm saying? LeVar Ball will have some input with Jordan in the draft. Watch. You think so? I don't know about that, AP. I don't know about that. He may have his views, but from what I from what I can take in seeing what how Michael Jordan is through interviews, through press conferences, through all these stories and stuff about Mike is Mike. Mike gonna make decisions. He gonna make his own decisions whether whoever says what. So LeVar may give his input, but it won't. I don't feel as though it'll have any type of uh, influence on what type of or what Michael Jordan and whoever else it is going to be. Oh boy, it's Cup check or whatever. I don't think it'll have any influence on who they pick tonight.
Hmm.
But it should be a good. It should be a good draft. It should definitely
Hmm.
be a good draft.
Who you
And
think
it's
going?
crazy.
Who you think going number one?
That one kid, they was just talking about him last night. What's that dude? What's that kid's
Jabari
name?
Smith.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I agree.
And, and I heard last night you asked that question yesterday about in regards to pick. You was like, do you pick by what's available
Best
or
available, or most what's best available for your squad?
right? And the San Antonio Spurs hasn't had a number 10 pick or a pick in the top 10 in over 30 years.
Hmm.
Last top 10 pick I think they had was in 1989 or so or something like that. They ain't had a
Hmm.
lot. They ain't had a. I think their last top 10 pick was like Tim Duncan. I think it was Tim Duncan or somebody like that. It was like it's been 30 years. Put it like that. Well, I think they got picked 9 tonight,
Hmm.
and the coach said he's gonna pick the best available, not the best available for the team
Best available on the
at
board.
the time. He said even though it may not be fitting for our team, he said, I'm still picking the best available on the board.
What's the strategy?
It is. And he said, we'll work around that. We'll find ways to work around it. But I am not going to allow the best available player to be left on the board to try and pick the best available for our team.
I think I could get down with that, especially at this point to where you just got into the play-in barely, and
Mhm.
let's keep it real. You got a lot of teams got into the playoffs, particularly Golden State. I mean, Golden State, San Antonio, due
San
to the
Antonio,
debacle of the Lakers.
like
Of course, the lack of certain players in with the Clippers and that. So, so really, New Orleans and well, I won't say that about New Orleans because New Orleans just made their team better and they made a
by
push.
by putting what you call on it or
CJ.
CJ
Hmm.
McCollum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they just made a push, but for the most part, San Antonio got in because LA fell apart at the end, and
Mm-hmm.
so. Um, but yeah, definitely. I completely understand. I look forward. Well, initially I was looking forward to looking at the draft, and then it dawned on me I'll be at work.
Yeah, it worked.
Yeah, we got
Imagine.
the volleyball
Oh,
season,
oh,
so I'll be at work. So I won't be able to. I'll just be able to catch it like maybe.
absolutely, Anthony. Absolutely, Anthony. That's a great way to put it. If you're drafting the best person, you're drafting for the future. If you're drafting what's needed, you're drafting to win now. Absolutely, absolutely. Oh, I hate to hear it. Well, I'm sure you would. Are you?
Yeah,
Are you?
I'll be able to catch it. Like
Yeah,
look at my
yeah,
phone. Well,
yeah.
not here and there because I'm scorekeeping too.
Oh, I was about to
So
ask
and we're playing
you.
it's rally points, so it could
Oh,
be a fast and furious game for the
yeah.
most part. But actually, you know what? No, I'll be able to catch some of it. I might be able to catch the second round, depending on because it's I only have two games tonight. So
Mm.
unless a forfeit happens, then I should only be able to I should be able to catch. Oh, you know this.
This post games, right?
Yeah, it's intramural. Actually, disregard. I have three games, so I'm not gonna. I just be watching, looking at my phone,
Trying
and
to catch
go
every bit.
and look at and draw commentary from that for the for Friday show. But yeah, so but additionally, as we know, free agency begins next week, Thursday, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, in
What
which
is it?
free agency.
Oh, next week. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hmm. So I know it was a couple of questions, a couple of things in which I know Zach as well as Anthony were making the asking a question or saying they think free agency should start before the draft happens.
The free agency should no. Why?
I, I believe that they're saying that so if you go in free agency, then you kind of know what you need to pick up in the draft, as
Why?
opposed to
Why isn't the same vice versa? Whatever you don't get in the draft, you can look for in free agency, which is more seasoned. In my
okay.
opinion.
I like the comeback. I like that
I mean,
comeback.
that's just me. I feel like because what I don't get in my draft, for one, you getting a rookie, so you
Hmm.
know that he's going. It's a learning curve for him coming
Hmm.
into the NBA. So it's a learning curve. So whatever you missing, whatever key areas you missing from getting what you may have wanted to get in the draft, you may be able to pick up in free agency to fill those gaps. In my opinion.
I get it.
But
I can see your
I'm
point.
listening. But I'm listening to the opposite point though, Trey. I'm listening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and I can definitely see that point. You know, I think, but that's what they was getting at. If you draft, and maybe it's a situation to where it's easier um to draft a need at a cheaper point than it is to pick it up
Mhm.
through a free agency or whatever case like that, or the
I
fact
can
of
see that.
because basically it's the same thing because like you're the free agents are basically you're selling yourself to the free agent to see if they would come play with you. If you don't, you miss out on them, and then it continues to go on as you go down the line until there's no one of any interest that's left there, or you don't want to spend the money for that type of talent, and but then you still have the opportunity to knowing that where you are as a drafter and this kind of thing. It was like, okay, I can make I have this selection in the draft. Um, Depending on how much you can sit up and look at, like, okay, now this player is in my on my team. I can maybe package them to get more assets in the draft and move them just as they do after the fact, and then know that okay, at the end state is I'm going in and I'm looking for this as far as a player to be drafted, or ultimately as well. I can't draft this player, but they should be available as an undrafted free agent, in which I can make a play for them there. Because at that point, they're free to go to anyone that they want to. So so I can see both sides of the coin.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely can see it too. I mean, for me though, for when it comes to the draft, I mean, and this is in any sport that has drafts. Um, of course, you're looking at that person, whoever you choosing to pick within the draft. If of course, again, it's excuse me, it's a young talent coming in, so you're hoping the young talent that can come in, give a spark, and be something for the future of your franchise. Now, you picking that talent from the draft, excuse me, and then picking up a veteran, could possibly could possibly with that veteran mentor and help build a dynasty of somewhat if you pick the right recipe. You pick the right ingredients, in other words, and the right person coming from the draft, the right person coming out of free agency.
I
You
see
may
what the culinary specialist.
yeah, yeah,
I see
yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I see
yeah.
what you're doing. I see what you're
You know what
doing.
I'm saying. You just like how you do, just like how you make, lasagna. You know what I'm saying. You got steps to that, junk.
Mm-hmm.
It's sauce
7 steps
noodles. It's yeah, you know what I'm saying. Sauce noodles. It's sauce noodles.
mixture.
What is it? Sauce noodles, filling sauce, noodle sauce. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So you gotta know how to, you know what I'm saying, put it all together and make it work.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can do that, that's a recipe for an amazing um, organization or franchise, as well as a great lasagna.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I see. I got you. I got you. So, additionally, when we look at that guard Pat Connaughton, who Memphis, not correction, Milwaukee, decided to opt in for his contract as he had a player decision. Of course, I guess it's a no-brainer. You're technically 1 year removed from the championship. Team wasn't shabby. Y'all kind of fell apart. Chris Middleton wasn't there, so y'all wasn't a fully healthy team. He's due to make 5.4 million at this point for his for the year. Uh, are you is there any number? Let's say you're middle of the line, right? Mediocre, a role player, if for the
Mhm.
and you know this, and the league knows this. Are you at any point in that time taking the flyer on yourself, or with the player option, or are you opting in to get the guaranteed money and then worry about everything else? Or are you just gonna go ahead and put yourself out there?
Wait, do what now?
So are you so if you're guaranteed money, let's say player option, $7 million player option you have.
Okay, so in other words, like oh boy,
All right, thank you.
PJ Tucker.
Yeah, like PJ Tucker. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Uh-huh.
Or are you gonna go with the PJ Tucker mindset and be like, nah, I'm just gonna go ahead and put myself out there, see if I could
And
get
see
a
what I
little
can
more,
see
10
more.
million, if I could get 3 million more. Is that 3 million? Is that 9 million? Let's say because he's looking for seven, he's looking for 3 years, 10 million a year. So
Right.
is that 9 million plus worth the guaranteed seven?
So that's a good question.
For show? Are you going with for show or
The
are you going with something
guarantee,
more?
yeah, the guarantee. So just to put it in, just to put
For show
it,
or for some more?
just to put it in this type of situation, we all know as fellas. I know there's ladies on here too, and please don't take this, don't misconstrue this, but we know how fellas used to be when we used to be,
What before he says this, before because when he started laughing when I said for show for Mo, I already knew when he started laughing where he's going with. So before he says this, I want to basically go forth and say that I his bishop's views does not reflect the views of me as well, and that that he's and this is
don't
just
believe
scenario
that,
driven.
don't
It's just
believe
scenario driven, and
that,
I'm just listening
don't,
at this point,
don't
and
believe that.
I just
Don't believe
comment
that.
for the media
This
aspect.
this old pretty eyed dude don't believe that, dog. Don't y'all believe that? Don't y'all believe that?
Just
So
so okay.
y'all know how fellas are when we in the Jay. Don't do that.
Nah, bro, stop it, Jay.
So y'all know when
No,
we in the
oh
club as
Jesus.
dudes, man, and you got this one female that you know you can knock down compared to this one female you want to knock down. You gotta choose. Do you want to go with the sure or do you want to go with the possibly? And you in a major dilemma. So it's always you try to pick and you try to pick it, but it really and to answer your question for real.
Why could you just use
I'm just
why can
that's
you
the
just
first
use
thing.
why can you just use a spades comparison? Like, why?
I'm just saying, man, that came to mind.
Oh my goodness!
But
Oh my goodness!
boy, I can't. Jay say I can't. That's a tough decision right there. But for real though, so
Spades ain't that-
stupid.
oh my goodness!
Oh my god. But for real though, for real. On some realness. That is a hard question, and it's difficult because yeah, you possibly you are leaving 7.5 million on the table. However, comma, it's a possibility you could make up to 3 million added to that. Now, the problem with me, the problem I have with it, y'all must have you stupid Jay. The problem I have with it though, Trey, is the fact that okay, what we spoke about yesterday with Professor.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are ring chasing, some people are
Mm-hmm.
money chasing.
Mm-hmm.
So if like for PJ Tucker's situation instance, he's obviously money
Chasing
chasing.
money, from money chasing the money.
Now the thing is, okay, yeah, say you do leave the 7.5 million, which PJ is basically doing, leaving 7.5 on the table, but you go to somewhere like I don't know, somewhere like
Golden State.
go or no, not Golden State. No, we ain't gonna put him there that good. We're gonna put him in let's just say Cleveland right now. Or
Or
somewhere
Philadelphia.
or no, a bad team. I'm
Oh,
saying
okay, okay, okay,
a bad team, somewhere that's not doing too well. A team
okay.
that's not on, that didn't make the plan or something.
Portland.
Portland, let's go with Portland. Portland. Say he goes to where Portland. Okay, yeah, you making money. You made the money, but like what like is that all you care about? Like are you no longer worried about making it to the NBA final? Excuse me, the NBA finals. Now if you're getting 3 million on top of that 7 and you ending up with 10 and you go to Golden State or you go to Philadelphia or you go to somewhere that's a contender for NBA finals, okay, I get it. I don't mind leaving that 7.5 because I'm sure I'm going to get this 10 plus I have an opportunity to win a championship as well. I'm killing
So
two birds.
I
I'm
think,
killing two
and I
birds.
think that's the mindset of which PJ Tucker is on. That's what he's on. His mindset is I'm gonna get two birds with one stone. I'm gonna make that someone, a contender, is willing to pay me that money for my skills and my abilities, and where I can, like you said, I can make some more money on a longer contract and with the opportunity to win another championship potentially.
Mhm,
Where you say like someone like we was just saying, someone like, or like Jay was just saying, someone like a Phoenix might be willing to bring him back to
mhm.
because they are a potential contender, might be
Right.
willing to bring him back at 10 million for the next 3 years, or like you said, a Philadelphia or saying, or a Boston or something like that might be
Mhm,
willing to bring him. Chicago might be willing
mhm.
to take him and pick up that $10 million to bring him back, to bring him on, and saying still have, and with they're also considered contenders. I think that's exactly. I'm very sure that's what everyone's looking for. But definitely, if he's leaving 7 million guaranteed on the table, then that's no
Mhm.
different from someone like Bradley Bill or Russ or Kyrie leaving 36 to 47 on the table to do the same.
Right. So J Net says, but let's look at the contenders which teams are in the spot to bring him in at that cost. Bucks, no. Philly, not really. Golden State, nope. I don't think Chicago has fun unless they make moves. Right, exactly, Jay. That's my so the question at hand, Jay, as,
Where would he
as
go?
yeah, as yourself putting yourself in PJ Tucker's shoes, do you leave that 7.5 million on the table? Or do you stay where you at, where you already a contender where you are? Why you're in a contender spot. You're in a contender spot to make the finals. Without question. Y'all was there was a series away. You're in a spot. Why
And then,
leave
and I think additionally, what that could happen too.
more?
Miami might go ahead and pay that. Like basically, he's opening the door to get
Yep.
more money from
Mhm.
Miami as well. So if Miami
Right,
figure him to be that dude, they could
right.
potentially pay that as well. Be like, you know what, this is what we're willing to offer, uh, and go. Like you said, Miami could figure it out. Like Jay was saying, and he bring him back, or like you said, you go back to Phoenix, Utah, um, or any of that.
Or he just need more shoe money. That part.
He got
that part.
got
That part.
some shoes
Uh,
he'll never probably wear,
right.
just
That
a
part.
collector item.
But for me, yeah, it would be difficult, man. For us, it's hard to answer that question because we're not making millions.
Yeah, it's not me.
It's not nothing. It's for us. I'm staying where I'm at.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
'cause we ain't making millions. We're not making millions. When millions of dollars are coming to you at you, 7.5 ain't nothing to you. You feel like that's chump change because
Yeah.
you feel like you're way more. You're worth way more than that.
Hmm.
So you know what I'm saying.
So you can decide like I can leave this on the table and be
Right.
comfortable and still and make moves because obviously he's going to be picked up by somebody. It's
Oh
just
yeah,
if he's going
somebody
to
gonna
get
use
picked up. Yeah,
it.
it's just if he's going to get picked up for what he believe what
Word.
he's looking for. And
Right.
I'm very sure his agent has went out there and kind of like research the market to see it can he get a potential 3 for 30 million contract from somewhere and still be a contender. I'm very sure he can go to any lackluster team and get on to
Mm.
with the ideal of making them better, but can he go to a team and solidify who they are already and give them a little push? And that's what remains to be seen in that. But yeah, so that definitely one of the conversations I was gonna have is like, are you leaving 7 million on the table for sure for some more? And it
Mm.
was clearly answered. So
Mm.
a couple of questions, and then of course I want to bring up a conversation that we was having up yesterday a little more in depth. One of the questions being, can do you foresee a situation where the Lakers are able to build around their stars, or do you think it's just they definitely have to let it go and kind of rebuild, go into a rebuild, a mini rebuild?
Can who do that?
The Lakers.
Can they build around their stars
Yeah,
currently?
yeah. 2 point again because they tried it the first
Yeah,
time
another year,
this
another
year. Yeah, this year
this
basically.
upcoming year. Yeah. Um. So I don't know what y'all cap is. I don't know if y'all got
We ain't
money.
got we ain't got no money. We ain't
I
got no
didn't
money.
think so.
We ain't got no money.
So, but however, though, however, comma, there are diamonds in the rough. We know that,
Hmm.
and there's guys out there. Now, where y'all at in the draft pick?
We don't got no draft picks,
Oh God. Ooh.
so we would have to trade back in to
Money.
get in draft picks. So
Oh,
basically at this point we're waiting to like they did all them they brung in a lot of players for workouts and stuff like that. But at this point we're just basically we're looking to see where the players who gets drafted, who doesn't get drafted, so we can hit the free agent market running, the undrafted free agent market running, or basically trade back in to get an
well,
opportunity.
so with that being said, the answer is yes. We can build around what they have around with Russ, with with
LeBron and
LeBron
AD.
and KD and AD. They can do that. However, comma, if I was them, the GM, the coach, whatever, I would try and find a way to get into the draft to get a pick. I would personally try and find a way to get a pick because this draft right here tonight,
It's
it's a
deep.
whole lot. It's deep. There you go. It's deep. It's a lot of talent out there. It's a lot of talent. I would try and find a way to get a pick. I would make some moves to get a pick without selling my soul. I would try and get picks. I would at least try and get one or two if I could, without selling my soul. Though I can't sell my soul, but I would try and get it. Russ style of play should not be built around. It doesn't equate to winning. You know what? That's not the first time I heard that, BJ, about Russ either.
Yeah, I think he said it on the show.
I,
He was on that. It was him.
that too, but not only that, but also
Okay.
not only that, but also it's a history. I mean, we've seen it.
Okay.
Russell has not made it to the big dance with any team he's been with. He hasn't. And after so many teams, and what Russell's on is what 15? Is this the fourth or fifth?
14.
Four. Okay.
Oklahoma, Houston, Washington, and LA.
Okay. So after so many teams, it's no longer them. You have to look at you.
Yourself, yeah.
So I agree. I personally still feel as though even though what BJ just said, and in regards to he's not built, you can't build around him. I feel like you can because of the fact of AD and LeBron. He can be that weak link for a portion of that team. However, comma, you can still bring somebody in and he'll still be able to contribute. In my opinion. But again, I feel like if I was the Lakers, I'd try to find a way to get a pick in a draft.
Mm.
What do you think? What's your take on it? Can they build around those big three? Or do they need to do like is there someone out there that they can or some You know,
My personal opinion is just he said he's trash.
he doesn't shoot well enough to not have the ball in his hands. Okay, that's fair.
So,
Well, that's definitely what showed this past season, without question.
I just for me it's I would think that they potentially can. Regardless, it would be extremely hard. It's like legitimately, it would be finding diamonds in the roughs that can basically show you something different and exceed expectation. But safely, it makes sense. We know money, money helps, and they would have to get rid of one of the three in order to have money
Mhm.
and maybe bring in assets as well that's lesser money to make it happen. So they can, but it's gonna cost something. Definitely, it's gonna
So
cost
they're gonna
something.
have to sell their soul. In other words, what you saying?
Well, I'm not even sell soul. It's just it's gonna cost something. Even one, you gonna have to get rid of one of the two and start bringing in some stuff and making it work, or you gotta just you keep your three and you gotta dig deep and find unearth talent that you know what I'm saying. You got to be like, man, like please let this dude be what it is, or a case like that. Like on Hustle, like going to somewhere and finding somebody, or
Mhm.
going deep. You know what I'm saying, looking at because like I said, no picks. They can't pick anybody. So additionally, all they have to do is they I would hope that they put their team, employed their team to be like, okay, this is what I need you to do. Take a look at, you know what I'm saying, what potentially or who can potentially be left as far as undrafted free agents when they get to building out these summer league rosters. We need to take a look at. We need to be having someone at every game. So if they drop this person, we can see it's going to take all of that, in which it should be being done already. But if they want to stay with their core and they with the what little money they have to build with the mid-level exceptions and all that type of stuff to build up to get players in which they most likely they're gonna probably use it a Malik Monk and then start to build like veteran minimums and stuff like that. Like it has to be a deep dive into that, and then of course someone has to be willing to buy into that. Like, where are you selling at this point? Do you get the chance to play with me, with Russ, LeBron, and AD? After what happened last year, the only difference is Coach Ham is there, and it's like, but it's like, what is he going to bring to the table as well? What is it? What's going to be his philosophy? How is he going to navigate um, these three players and basically go from there? So it can, it may work, it may not work, but I think it's possible. It just might be hard, hella hard at that point.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
So additionally, do you think Utah? Do you think Utah ends up sending one of their stars away?
Cool. You talk about
Donovan Mitchell
I think
Rudy Gobert.
it sounds like Donovan may be gone.
Oh,
It's to me, the way everybody's
hmm
talking, it sounds like Donovan is the guy that's going to leave, that's going to end up being a part of Utah, um, which is just going to be like bad for Utah. Um, but yeah, if I see somebody leaving, I feel like it'll be Donovan, not go.
okay,
In my
okay.
opinion, you.
And my first thought was thinking Shaq and Kobe, and Shaq ended up leaving. So in this mindset, it would be Donovan and Rudy, in which Rudy most likely will leave. But then I started thinking, if you have a disgruntled player in which maybe the disgruntledness has already reached its peak, why would you try to keep that player? Like, go ahead and get what you can for this player and keep it moving.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, and so my mindset has always been like, yes, you have some tremendous talents and stuff that are prevalent, that are in or your organization, but when you can't do anything, sometimes you just gotta let it go and go another route because there's other tremendous talents and stuff that's out there, whether it's known or unknown. It's just sometimes you gotta step out there and with the expectation that you can find something, and that's where you kind of see Houston at this point. They had James Harden. James was very disgruntled and didn't want to be there, and they let James. Hell, they wasn't winning with James there, at that point. So why deal with the headache and all that too? And so they got rid of James, and now they have a young core and building a young core. And I mean, it remains to be seen who they pick tonight and who they get. I know a lot might say it might be Pablo Banchero or or
Yeah.
or maybe Chet. I don't know. And then Ivy. I don't know. You'll say, and then go from there. Uh, and see. So I mean, they're continuing to build a young core, in which yes, they may lack experience, but could it be a potential where the experience, their abilities overpower that of experience, and they make a play or make a run, connections, chemistry. Hey, the Fab Five did it at one point, even though they faltered later on, but they won a championship as a freshman quartet. I mean, quintuplet, quints. So
Mm-hmm.
I know it's the league. You never know.
Facts. Facts.
So what I definitely had one a question, but you know what? I'm gonna save this for tomorrow because I think it's going to be very better suited to use tomorrow to bring up tomorrow. I think it's going to spark something. So definitely that. So of course, moving into the NFL, we unfortunately again, brother, another person gone at the young age of
Oh,
55 years old as Baltimore defensive tackle Tony Siragusa, a
yeah.
lot known as Goose, passed away yesterday. Of course, it was not revealed or said to or known what the reason for death was. Of course, Tony Siragusa was a member of that defense that won Baltimore their championship, that gave credence to the term "defense wins ball games," as their defense won them the championship, the Super
Mhm.
Bowl in 2000. Um, got them there too. Actually, it was all special teams and defense that helped them out. But of course, Tony Siragusa passes at the age of 55. Of course, just as any other time, prayers and condolences to the family of Tony Siragusa, NFL brethren, and all those that revered and loved him. Uh, yeah, prayers. Um, Now, additionally, this is more so. This portion of segment is more so that of in reference to just court system, court system, court system. Mm. That poor Anthony, I'm not sure if he did, but that the last part of it, drug problems, please get help. If you have people that we all know when there's problems, people have problems. There's always usually someone doesn't want to say that they have a problem, but definitely if you have a drug problem or any ailment or any issue in which is an addiction, whether it be drugs, sometimes it could be porn, sometimes it can be certain pills, other things. Seek help. Do the best to get to help yourself out or help the loved ones. But as I said, court systems is kind of taking over um, some aspects of the NFL, especially the off season. Plenty of things in reference to courts, or not even just courts, but in reference to being in the courts. As we all know, the Washington, speaking as funny enough, Anthony Price, Washington owner Daniel Snyder allegedly was caught conducting a shadow investigation to be used to discredit and or bury findings from the first investigation which he had during the probe into his organization's on work culture. It was found that he was doing shadow investigations, doing things in a matter in which he was trying to basically bring out or discredit those complaints with his own investigation. He produced a 29 page report of his own, basically saying that these individuals did this, have been involved in this, or we're doing all kind of other stuff, in which is kind of is illegal aspect. Actually, is illegal. Additionally, Commissioner Roger Goodell appeared before Congress yesterday. The Congress committee informing to inform the committee, as there was a question that was continuously asked of him, is what he will do and will he remove owner Snyder from the NFL, in which of course Roger Goodell stated that he doesn't have the power or the ability to remove an owner. Only thing he can do is recommend a vote to remove the owner, and then in that case, that vote could go forth, and then of course he needs um, 24 of the 32 owners to say. Uh, he needs 24 of 32 owners to basically say that they want him removed, and for it to even be possible. So, but of course, the congressman continually asks is like one thing I will say in reading the report through ESPN this morning is that Roger Goodell asserted that he doesn't have the power to remove an owner, and that it has to be a vote. He only could recommend for the vote, but he did not verify or say that he will recommend that vote to happen. So you have that in case. Um, One assertion was from Congressman Maloney, who is actually the chair for this committee. Maloney did cite that the NFL is not willing to hold Coach Snyder. I mean, correct. Daniel Snyder accountable for his actions and accountable for his organization, and so she's going to issue a subpoena for Snyder to appear before the committee after a couple of attempts to have him voluntarily invite him to come out to do his to interview. He hasn't came, so now they're going to issue a subpoena for him to be present. Of course, Commissioner Goodell rebutted, basically stating that he rebutted, basically saying that he feels that the NFL has been holding him accountable, and they have been doing what they can to ensure that he's accountable. Of course, you know that he went through the probe last year or the year before, in which the findings had the NFL found him $10 million, and as well had him step away from the day-to-day operations. But they're stating that that's not enough, because still there's allegations and stuff that is coming up, and he's not and it just isn't enough. He doesn't even need to be a part of the organization anymore, or part of the NFL anymore.
So you talking about the Daniel
Dan
Snyder?
Snyder, yeah.
So I don't know if you saw it, but they was coming for Goodell. They was coming
Yeah, I didn't see it,
for.
but I was going back in my research, and I was like, yeah,
They was like,
they,
"What you gonna do? What you gonna?" He couldn't even answer. They was like, What are you gonna do? What are you going to do?" Like, he needs to be. And he was like, "I do not have the authority to
to
remove
remove him.
an owner. I
But
do
like
not
I was just
have
saying, he
the
didn't.
authority."
They can't. They. What I was just saying is like he stated that he doesn't have the authority to move it or remove an owner, but he has the authority to put to recommend a vote to have him removed. And
Right.
I didn't hear anything where he said he was going to do that.
No, he didn't. He didn't say. So when it was all said and done, like I said, the women and the people that was coming at him, they wanted him to remove him. I don't know if they know the legalities of being able to have an owner removed, but they probably should have said what you just said and have him, you know, have him put into a place of
A
have
vote.
to have him removed, because he doesn't have the authority to do so.
Hmm.
But they were just coming at him so tough, man. Like they was at that dude, and you could tell he was like, man, you could tell he couldn't wait for that to be over with.
He was that
You could tell. Boy,
pressure
they was
cooker.
on him, bro. They was on him. He could not wait. Remove means he just cashes in several billion for the team, anyways. Yeah, but
Yeah,
and
but you remove that stream. That's a money
right,
stream.
yeah, that's done. Yeah, once you remove the stream, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. And in the fans and the fans and the people of Washington, man, they want something to happen, and it's not going to be and it might be the best for Daniel to do so. To be honest with you, because
At this point.
it's probably going to hurt the franchise in the upcoming season because of all these allegations. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. It might be a good move for him to do something to remove himself or step down as owner or
Sell the
sell the
team.
franchise. Yeah, sell the team. Because I do feel like in the long run, if nothing happens by the time the season starts, It's gonna be picketing at the games. It's gonna be a lot, bro. It's gonna be a lot. I'm just saying. Moving means his wife is going to be the owner, and Dan's still telling her what to do. No, I don't think.
So that's presumably what could be going on now, but
Right,
removing him there, like he's already removed from day to day.
day to day
But
operations. Yeah,
so what it would be is, I think if they removing him means that him forcing him to put the team up for sale, in
right.
which now he has his wife is. I mean, it's going to be that, but now it's just a matter. It becomes a matter of time to where the NFL, whomever finds a suitor to purchase the team, and then go from there. Of course, a lot comes with that because they have to see. You have to probably even one get a person who's going to keep the team in Washington, or determine if they're going to move the team, if it's going to be advantageous to the league if they were to move the team, or and all that type of stuff. So a lot of stuff goes into those buying of selling the teams because it's a share system, and they
Hmm.
have to make sure that is going to be the best for the whole organization.
That part.
So the owner would have to be open to keeping the team in Washington for the most part.
Wherever
Uh,
that next owner is, yes.
yeah,
That
or can produce what would make sense for them to put it somewhere else. If it'd be what the fallout would be. Of course, we know if they remove that team. I know you. When I was saying it, I was thinking it, but I was like, "There's no way Washington moving the team from Washington is in San Antonio is going to be more advantageous." But what I will say, Bishop, is I think you might get your wish. As I think the USFL is expected to expand and bring back the San Antonio Gunslingers
yeah,
into the USFL.
yeah, I heard about that too. Yeah, I heard about that. But fans out here, they're not really um excited about that. You got some that are, but for the most part, they're not excited about that because they still want an NFL team out here.
They might be opening to open the door for it, but
It might
definitely.
be. It might be.
So, of course, like I said, this all about a lot of court stuff and reference next court case. NFL has put a motion in to move the Flores case class action
Oh,
suit into arbitration, as they stated after going through the contracts for the three coaches in which which they have been or have joined the other two coaches who have joined Coach Flores in the class action lawsuit in reference to racial discrimination during the hiring processes. It was found in their contracts that they signed, saying that they will seek to go to arbitration first in reference to any actions against organizations or the NFL. So the NFL has put that motion in to see if that's going to make that, to see if they can make that possible. So potential arbitration for that, unless the Supreme Court was to vote differently.
mm,
Uh, and then of last, when we come to these tops, as Bishop stated a couple of days ago, we did find out in which Deshaun Watson, quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, settled 20 of the 24
cases, civil.
civil cases
Yeah.
in reference to him having sexual harassment or assault charges, inappropriateness during his massage sessions. In state is I wanted to take a little more deep dive into this conversation because now we have the settlements have been settled. Like it's been 20 or 24 settlements settled. What exactly does that mean? So of course compensation. We don't know what compensation is being pushed out. I know I did see something where people was talking about. I guess that guaranteed $230 million is going to be coming into is going to come into play very nicely, but we didn't get anything as far as compensation. Actually, that's going to be confidential. I don't know if it's a situation to where it's going to be confidential that those figures, if it's confidential to where that individual nor Deshaun Watson could speak about the situation ever again. Uh, it's just a lot of unsaid in this fact of the matter. But what we do know that it is that 20 of the 24 cases were settled. Um, Additionally, that also adds to why didn't the other four settle? Is it because they felt like it wasn't worth? They feel like they can get more, or they just feel like it's unjust, and they want to make sure to process as much as they can before just settling for anything. The next thing, of course, where a lot of times we have joked about saying that Bishop and Special Agent in Charge Davis and Special Agent Price have been a part of it is the NFL's decision. Like, what is the NFL going to do? What do we have in place in reference to Sean Watson? Is it likely that he's going to get a suspension or anything for the conduct policy? Is there a situation to where does the fact of the compensate the settlement of these cases does that have any bearing on what the NFL's decision is? So of course, looking into that, the decision has been stated that Goodell came back and said that doesn't affect it at all. That doesn't have any bearing as far as the civil cases and their and that information. But they are somewhat waiting in reference to these decisions because technically you still have four cases that are out there, and they don't know if there's more information that can come out with these four cases that are still out there that can kind of. What they don't want to do is give a punishment, some new information come out, and then the punishment that they gave doesn't fit
The crime.
the
The crime.
criteria for the crime. So
Mhm.
now it's like he done got away with something, and you basically done slapped him on the wrist with a 6 game suspension that probably would have warranted him being done for the whole year.
Right.
So it's kind of like a back and forth in that case. But of course, what I think is the most interesting situation is the simple fact of due to the CBA, the newest CBA or collective bargaining agreement. I know someone was asking earlier when we was talking about the Dan Snyder that is asking what does can Roger Goodell do or what is his function? Why is he even around? And some of that is based on the fact of Roger Goodell due to the new CBA, it has removed him from certain aspects when it comes to punishment. So now the process is, especially for this being the newest in the CBA, Deshaun Watson situation is under the new collective bargain agreement, any recommendation the NFL makes about discipline for Deshaun Watson, be it a fine, suspension, or both, will then go before a retired U.S. district judge who is Sue I. Robinson, who serves as a jointly appointed discipline officer by the NFL and the NFLPA. Robinson is likely to conduct her own hearing involving an interview with Watson and the other witnesses. This means even once the league makes a decision on whether or how to discipline Watson, the process may still take a while to resolve. If the league imposes discipline, Robinson upholds it, and Watson is unsatisfied with the decision, he can appeal the fine and or suspension. In the case, Roger Goodell's NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell would hear the appeal and make a final decision. So it don't tell him when. It might be a whole. For one, the civil cases that are being played out aren't expected to be tried till after March of next year. First and foremost, when you look at this, we might have a situation to where Deshaun might play and get fined next year at the end state because, like from what we just had in reference to the process, the officer hearing the process, she's going to have her own interview so that she can see, so she can wage it against what it is that the NFL has came up with to see if it's standing, and then she'll make her recommendation and even uphold what the NFL is putting off, or bring up something else in which Deshaun can challenge and appeal it, and then it goes through arbitration. But then it puts it back in the hands of Roger Goodell to sit up and say, "Okay, this is what we're going to do," in which basically brings it back full circle. So in that case, Bishop, are listening to that, what do you think of that new process to where the white, I guess you could say red tape, white tape, or is it just making sure due process is being handled?
I think it's good. I
Okay.
feel that I feel like it makes sense. I know a lot of people wondering why the NFL is taking so long to punish Deshaun Watson or whatever. But in my personal opinion, I feel like it's like you said, when it's all said and done, you don't want to punish him and then have to come to find out later, there's 10 more allegations, 10 or
Hmm.
7 of those are actually doing, going to pursue it even further or whatever, and then you only suspended him for 4 games. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
you don't want to do that because it's gonna look bad on Roger Goodell, and he has enough on his plate right now with Daniel Snyder.
Oh
So
yeah, he giving them all he can get.
yeah, so right now Roger
I
Goodell,
know Roger Gill's like, yo, just go to the interview, fam. What are you doing?
yeah, right now Roger Goodell hate being the commissioner right now, bro. Because he was like, I ain't signed up for this. I didn't sign up for this. I got Snyder on one hand, I got Deshaun on another.
He's
Like,
like,
come
I
on,
expected
bro.
this from
Like,
Jerry Jones, not
yeah,
from
you know what
you.
I'm saying? I got too much going on,
I
bro.
got Brian Flores on the other hand. It's like,
Yeah,
bro, I only
Brian
got two
Flores.
hands.
Yeah, bro. Look, I got two hands. There's too much going on, bro. There's too much going on. So, yeah, but I feel like the wait. Like I said, when a lot of people don't is wondering why the wait is continually going on. That's why you got to wait until let everything pan out, find out, let everything go through its run its course, and then um and hopefully it all runs its course before the season starts, because I would hate for it to continue to be running as the season starts and he fool around and end up playing, and then you have to
And now
suspend.
you really got a problem.
Now you got a problem.
What's
Now
good,
you got a
Coach? What's
huge.
good,
What up,
Mo?
Mike? What up,
Oh,
Coach?
speaking of commissioner. Yeah, then you got a huge problem because nowadays, like, oh,
Yeah,
so this is what they value. This is like,
right.
yo,
Well, now you got a major problem. Now you got to figure out. Oh, now I got to suspend this dude, and he done played 2 to 3 games. God dang! Now I'm back on it. Now the Goodell back on the hot seat again, with fans, with coaches, with owners, all of that. So
imagine if Cleveland wins the Super Bowl and
yeah,
he's heralded in the MVP, and then and then like, bruh, yeah.
bruh, yeah,
And this
we love
and the decision for Houston to sit him down all last year is looking more and more genius. Like, yo,
Mhm.
we didn't want them problems.
You're right. Yeah, Houston did it right. Looks
Yeah,
like
no,
Houston did it
yeah, we
right.
should. Yeah, we pay
Yeah,
him, but we
Houston
gonna
did it
go
right.
ahead. Yeah,
Yeah, we gonna pay him, but we gonna sit him. So yeah, he gonna be happy, but we gonna be happy too, and fans gonna be happy too. So we
long
gonna do
run.
it
Yeah,
long
long
run.
run.
Everybody's happy, and then we're gonna ship his ass out, which they did.
Yeah. That's exactly what they did.
No,
It's like he's good. He's good.
yeah,
It's like
we doing
it's
that
like
2
I
years in
had
a row.
one time I came back from a deployment, right? And something was wrong with my vehicle. I don't know what was wrong with my vehicle. I took the vehicle to get fixed. As soon as the guy set up and fixed it, he did what he had to do to it, and he told me, he's like, "Hey, I don't know what's going on with here, but he's like, it'd behoove you to go ahead and trade this in right now if you can." So that's
Mhm.
basically what it's like. It's like, okay, I just sat the vehicle and sat, everything good, came back. When it's time to play again, you can play. But
Mhm.
I don't know if I want you to play for my team, so let me go ahead and trade you so that way I can get someone else and go ahead and
That's what
send them on about it.
that I did that with a truck of mine. I did that with a truck, man. I had got it. It was, and it's always right when you done paid the damn thing off. It happens every time. Every time
It breaks down right there. It's like,
it breaks
what?
down. Like the very next day, it breaks down. I was like, oh no, you know what? Oh no, you know what? I'm about to, oh, this Joker acting funny. Up, time to get rid of it. I
And you
drove
know
right up.
what? It just be your mind sometimes. Because I swear,
Yeah,
he just fixed it. But I was like, man, it don't even ride right. It don't even ride the same. I was like,
you're
just let me
right,
just go.
bro. And I sure got rid of it. I got rid of it before it went to the junkyard, or to the heavenly junkyard for cars. I got rid of it. But yeah, when it's all said and done, that's what Houston's did. They was like, all right, we ain't finna do this 2 years in a row. This is not what we about to do.
Yeah. So it made no
We ain't
sense
finna
for us
pay
to
him
sit
and let him
twice
sit
again.
on the bench.
And
We
I'm
ain't
very
finna pay
sorry.
him and let him sit at the house for 2 years. Now, no, we do it 1 year, and after that, he gone. He got to get
Yeah,
up
and I'm very sure
out
the
of
NFL, because at the end of it, even had it once it was all said and done, he probably would have still wanted to leave anyway. So they would have to deal with that. So they got rid of it basically.
So Coach Hunter, this is the same thing in which I said, right? But is it fair to suspend him again, given he was already told to sit out a year, time served? So I said that like a few months ago, right? Because yes, true enough, he has served a whole entire year on the bench, at home, whatever, being away. But this was what Trey said. That was given out by the team of the Houston Texans. The NFL didn't do that. Roger Goodell had no part in that.
Mm-hmm.
So when it's all said and done, yes, Houston did their part, but people are expecting Roger Goodell, being the commissioner of the league, to put down some type of punishment as well. I'm just because I
Yeah,
said the
because
exact
he has
same
to face for the code for his personal conduct. So that's
that
what he's
part.
looking at
That
now
part.
is personal conduct.
It's like
Before it was like you said was based on Houston feeling like this is what's best for our organization to
because we
sit
don't know
him
what's
down
going how
because
it's
we
going
don't
to
know.
pan
Yeah.
out. Right, right. They really did it as a precaution
Hmm.
because they didn't know how things was going to pan out. Again, like we just stated, we would hate for them. They would hate for him to to have played him in Houston and things would have went to the worst. And then now they're in a real bad predicament. So
Yeah, they
Houston,
already in the predicament when you look at it because they're in the lawsuit now because it was found out that he was using their facilities as well as using their
see that part.
their personnel to give NDAs and all that type of stuff. So
See,
yeah, they're hard. At this point,
so,
Cleveland should look at probably doing the same.
but then okay, so then what? Suspending them for
Not sitting them.
just so not suspending them, but just not
Not yeah,
start.
because
Just,
the suspension is coming. Maybe the suspension is lesser when they look at what two organizations done for the player, and so it might be advantageous for them to like saying, wait, we just gonna go ahead and sit you for a little bit before uh to go behind that because we, like as I just said, with the whole process and everything, that can take forever. And I don't know if the NFLPA would be agree with him sitting another year. I'm very sure he can go and have the NFLPA fight that for him. But at this point, he's basically in the same predicament that he was in Houston. But
right.
now the only thing is he's a little bit closer to him having this being assessed his whatever it is for his conduct. And insight is if they play him and things are going all good, then you already know the boo birds are going to come out and it's going to be like, oh no, saying this is what we're doing, this is what we put up this. We still got 4 cases. Y'all playing him. You're not even waiting. It's about the old mighty dollar. Yada yada yada. Presumably, this is all speculation, and so that part is where if you look at Cleveland, it's like, do we want to take a chance on that?
But
Like
then
he's like
right.
it's not over yet. He still hasn't been. And like we just said, they're gonna make their recommendation, which they already should be in that process now. They're gonna give the recommendation to the officer. She's gonna probably do her due diligence and the due process and look and see, do an investigation, talk to the witnesses, and find out so she can make a judgment in her for what she think is better. And if a judgment lines up with that of the NFL, then the next process is to give it to Deshaun and Deshaun says yay or nay. If it doesn't line up with her in the NFL, then she has the right to maybe change, and then again, in any case, Deshaun has the right to appeal it, in
That,
which particularly could be where okay, I could continue to play, or Deshaun could be like, you know what, I'm just going to take it, let's get it out the way and go from there.
but see, this is the thing, though. So I hear what somebody said. Oh no, that was you, Trey. Said that Cincinnati or Cleveland should sit him
Shit,
and
I'm here.
not let him start. But see that with that though, my thing is this, right? Then you run into the problem that you didn't pay this man
Mm-hmm.
all this money,
Mm-hmm.
and you gonna sit him on your bench. Now, mind
Well,
you, don't get me wrong. I understand what's going on with him.
mm-hmm.
You just sat here and paid him all this money, and you're looking at letting Baker Mayfield go. Now, mind you, I know they got another backup, but you're looking at letting Baker Mayfield go, and you gonna sit here and let all this money go to this man, and he gonna sit on your bench?
So I think it's the lesser. I
Ah,
mean,
bro.
it's a cautionary tale. That's what it comes. It's a cautionary tale.
I get
Yeah.
that. I
So
get
it's
that.
like, do I? It's like, do we like? True
Damn if
enough,
I do it, damn if I don't.
we paid them 230 million. True enough,
Yeah,
but we're a $1 billion industry, a
right.
$1 billion team, and so is that too? Like we just talked about, 7.4 or some more. And so
Right.
it's like 230 million or some more. It's like, okay, what do I? It's like where it's like true enough, and I understand. It's like we don't pay them, but it's like, do we want to make sure that do we want to make sure we're careful in going forth because we can lose a whole lot of people potentially in this aspect where we come to fans and people who basically pay to continue to employ them. So it's just one of those things. You don't know if people start pulling out. You don't know when the values of organizations that you are a partner with and what they think. I'm very sure going forth you kind of find that out and have an understanding. So it go from there, and you got to make that decision. Like, hey, yes, he's one man, but we talk about a nation.
Yeah.
a Browns fan. So, but yeah, you do bring up a good point, in which was the last part in this conversation is yesterday we talked about the whole Dan and Tony Charlotte thing, even though a little bit this morning where we talked about I wasn't your first choice. Now you come back to me and want me to give some thought to working with you when I wasn't your first choice. Baker Mayfield said he would never, ever again play a down for the Cleveland Browns,
Oh wow.
especially when their GM came out and said that they were looking for a more of an adult to be their starting
Sure,
quarterback.
I remember that. Yep.
Now they're in a position to where you can be. Yes, you brought in presumably a better talent in Deshaun Watson.
And
He
Watson.
has his situation. He might have to sit out.
Mm-hmm.
Now you brought in another talent in Jacoby Brissett.
Mm-hmm.
It can be speculative that you are better than Jacoby Brissett. You are still currently contracted to this organization, but you said you won't play again. You're not going to play again. Is there a situation to where you eat crow and go ahead and play to build your potential status, or would you just continue to be like, nah, I'm good. I said I'm not playing again, so I'm not going to play again. Whatever y'all got to do, y'all can do, but I'm not playing again. Uh, do you go back? Do you do relate to go back, or do you go back and be like, you know what, I can build my profile and play.
Again, that's a hard question, man, because when it's all said and done, Baker Mayfield
Interesting,
has
coach.
he's accomplished. He is in no position to speak. He is a backup quarterback at best. I mean, he had the second worst QB rating in the NFL league last year.
But he
Second,
was injured most of the year, right? Like
yeah,
he played. He was playing
he
on a
was
bad
second to
shoulder.
Justin Herbert though. Justin Herbert had the worst, and then he had the second worst QB rating at 53 something, 55 somewhere around there. Or he was 53 and Justin Herbert was 53 and I think he was 55 something. It was him. It was Justin Herbert, Baker Mayfield, Ben Roethlisberger, and then uh, somebody else. I forget who the fourth person was. But anyway,
But two of those four were playoff quarterbacks,
right, and, yeah, and right.
or would have been. Yeah, playoffs. They made it to the playoffs.
Right. So this is so um I don't know, man, because again, when it's all said and done, we only hear what the media allows us to hear.
Mm-hmm.
So of course we do know what, like he said, we do know what the owners and the coaches and said have said about Baker, so forth and so on. And it's hard to come back and play for somebody when they've said and made
Yeah,
those
in
type
the
of,
back of your head, that's
yeah,
going like, "Yo, this dude said
yeah,
this."
you pretty much you didn't downplay me a great deal, and you want me to come back, or you looking at me to come back. That would be hard for me, for my pride to come back and want to and play for a team who doesn't believe in me and feels as though I'm immature to be behind the center for their organization. So it would be very hard. And I feel like that's one of the main reasons why he's so adamant about leaving and going somewhere else and being a starter to, of course, prove Cleveland wrong. To prove a point that Cleveland, once they do, if they do choose to allow him to leave, that they made a huge mistake by allowing him to leave, especially if things don't pan out with Deshaun. Especially if things don't pan out for Deshaun. So excuse me, to answer your question, it's hard. I would probably say no, I can't go back and play, man. I can't.
Mm,
I have my dignity about me, and I can't allow my dignity to take that type of hit after speaking so harshly about my about me, and think that I'm gonna come back and just let that slide and try and try and get you wins. No,
mm.
I can't do it. Personally,
Yeah,
I don't think I could do that.
yeah. So like y'all already know my aspect. It was like, man, y'all sit up and look at me like, I'm good now, or like now you want to sit up
Yeah.
and be like, hey, come, nah. So it would really, I mean, on initial thought, I'm with you. But of course, if I look at certain things, of course, listening to people, and I just going out on my shield and thinking about it, I would have to be think about hear other perspectives. I think pro con is I can go back and play and perform to where once Deshaun comes back or once I'm not playing there or whatever, I have it's a situation to where I can go now. It's like, okay, everyone's like, okay, Baker looked great. He came back from his injury. Oh, he's looking good.
Mm-hmm.
Con is I do that, and it brings up conversations where it's like, yeah, that's exactly why we didn't trade for him or what it
Right.
is. So it's like, so do you just leave it where it lay at and just let people go off of what they last seen of me or what they thought or how they thought I could be better? Or you know, saying the respectful people might look at it as like, yeah, that was the mature portion of it that I did come back and I did play, and you know, saying and I left everything else out there. I didn't let the personal aspect happen. I came in as a professional and I took care of business and went from there. Some might view that as a trait in which is like that basically shows the a maturity standpoint. So there's a lot of things I think that goes into that, in which would be interesting to see what Baker does. But as right now, he said he's not playing for the organization ever again.
And
That's what they do. The talking
and
when you
I,
have to lose to perform.
and we know you know it's just when with that statement, Coach Hunter, you just got some boisterous players out there. Some people allow their play to do the talking, and then you just have some that just allow their mouth to do all the talking and don't perform to their potential because they so focused on trying to put words out there into the universe about how they play instead of showing how they play. So I totally get where you're coming from, Coach Uriah, but I don't know. I personally feel like I wish they would hurry up and let something happen. I'm really tired of hearing about Deshaun. I'm tired of hearing about Baker. I'm gonna be 100. I'm gonna keep it 100%. I'm tired of hearing about both of them. I would prefer for them to go ahead and let Baker leave or whatever they're gonna do, and I know the Cleveland Browns organization is waiting to hear back from Roger Goodell and all these other things that are going on with the Deshaun Watson case. But I'm so ready for all that to be over. We've been talking about this for a whole year.
It say, yeah,
Come on,
it
I'm
continues like it continues to reinvent itself.
right. Yeah, like it's something new every other week, bro. They bringing something new out. And it's like, come on, man. Golly, can we just finally let it rest and be done with it? Just leave it alone. Finish whatever they y'all need to finish so we can get on with it. Like this is the only thing, basically, Trey. This is the only thing that's keeping the football alive. Is talking about that, talking about him, about Deshaun and Baker in the Cleveland Brown organization and Roger Goodell.
Or now Snyder.
Now Snyder, and I was just about to say,
Snyder
now
keeps it
that
going.
Snyder, yeah, now they added a little, added some salsa to it by putting Snyder in it. On Flores too, they added a little some queso, adding Flores to it. Now it's like, come on, bro, like, come on, man, can we get to some real football, man? Can we talk some real football? You know what I'm saying?
So interesting enough, it's interesting that you say
Hmm.
that. I have a question for you. Or did you know that these four individuals were undrafted? Was undrafted, but have 40 TDs since 2018. So over the last 4 years, these four individuals was undrafted, but was very adamant. Was very productive in it. Devontae Adams, Tariq Hill, Mike Evans, and Adam Thielen.
Oh wow, they were all undrafted.
Yep. Went from undrafted to well, hold on, no, I stand corrected. Adam Thielen went from undrafted to 40 touchdowns in the last 4 years. But of course, the other three were drafted. Tyreek Hill, Mike. I know Mike Evans was drafted because he
I know
came
he
out of
was.
Texas A&M.
Yeah, I was like, he was undrafted.
So Adam Thielen, basically,
That's amazing.
and Adam Thielen did come on the scene quick. I was like, I didn't even know who this
Did
dude was.
Adam Thielen did come on the scene quick. But again, it goes back to what I said in which we was talking about in basketball. There's a diamond in the rough. You just got to find it.
Hmm.
There's always a diamond in the rough. You just got to find it. You just got to run across it. We all know the story about Tom Brady.
Yeah,
One of the most unathletic looking dudes you've ever seen before in a combine. But however, is now considered the GOAT. They out there. You just gotta find them. They out there. It's
and
like
which
it's
now
like it's like going to a beach with one of them metal detectors, hoping to find some gold.
just going through the motions and like,
Yeah,
yeah, I hope, and then be like, oh snap.
Yeah, you just got to find it. It's about being able to be able to sift through all the nonsense and get to it.
Just like how I do in my draft,
Oh my
for
this dude.
fantasy football.
Oh, this dude
I
here
don't
with the
even I don't even
nonsense.
need to draft. I
Oh,
don't even need to. I don't even necessarily really care about the draft.
so, as we are talking about real news, where was it at? I just saw it. Oh, did you hear about this real quick? Which in actuality, I don't want to get off football, but I had to put this
Hmm.
out here because I feel
Hmm.
like it's getting out of hand, and I'm tired of hearing about this too, or tired of this whole situation. Jake Paul announces Tom Fury fight for August 6th.
Oh, he's finally gonna fight him.
August 6th. I'll take his head off. After announcing earlier this month that he would return to the boxing ring after August 6th, Jake Paul has confirmed Tommy Fury will be his opponent for the Madison Square Garden show. Oh, I hope this dude knock him straight the what the hell out, bro. I'm so he all he's about is this all about that bag, bro. This dude really can't fight, man. He don't fight nobody real. I really want him to man. I really want him to knock. I want somebody to knock him straight, clean, what we call the out. Period. I do. I really do because he's making a mockery of the sport, man. He's making a mockery of the sport. If y'all don't feel like that, man, y'all let me know. But he is truly making a mockery of the sport. My personal opinion. And before we forget, man, mad shouts out. I don't know if Trey said it on Monday. I don't think he did because I don't think it was announced yet. But all shouts out to Sue Bird. She
Oh
is
yeah, I did. I didn't get a chance to talk about that.
she is
Retired.
she is one of the GOATs of WNBA. Five-time Olympic champion, four-time WNBA All Star. I mean, all of WNBA champion. Um, like, come on, man. This her accolades are phenomenal, and
Okay,
like,
5-time medalist.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a five-time gold medalist,
Hmm.
four-time
Two
WNBA champion,
two-time NCAA champion.
two-time NCAA champion. Like this woman's resume is immaculate. Is immaculate. And so, mad shouts out to Sue Bird, man. She's done some amazing things in the WNBA. Is about to retire. She has announced this is her final season with the WNBA. I think she's what close to 40. She's been in the league 21 seasons.
Hmm.
Right? 21 seasons. So mad shouts out to her. And then the other thing is mad shouts out to boom, Sooners to the men of the Oklahoma Sooners making it to the World Series, College World Series by defeating Texas Tech or Texas A&M. I'm sorry, Texas A&M yesterday to make it to the finals. There's the elimination game today, and whoever wins that elimination game today will be facing my beloved Boomer Sooners
Okay.
the College World Series, baby. Let's go. Unranked Sooners. They was not even ranked, and they're in the College World Series, baby. What will it be for the women to win the softball World Series, as well as the men? Boy, stop it. Stop it. It's about to go down. Let it go.
And in other news,
I knew he was gonna hate. I knew he was gonna hate.
but actually get into the talking to college. Like, if you haven't recognized or they can see it already, as we know, there's the Army Navy game that is played every year, in which now they have decided to expand it. In which now the Army Navy game is going to be for the next 5 years. They're going to play it in different areas, of course. Starting in 2023, the first game would be in Foxborough, Massachusetts. After that, Landover, Maryland, Baltimore, East Rutherford, New Jersey, and lastly, Philadelphia, where 2027 the Army Navy game would be played as they are spreading the wealth across the, I guess you could say, the eastern seaboard, where you can catch those games. Army, Navy. Of course, you already know I'm Army, beat Navy all day,
Cool,
every day.
cool,
Yes.
cool. So I guess also just to go back into just some some, and I won't say drama, but just some things going on. This happened yesterday or 2 days ago. Mike Tomlin says Antonio Brown returning to the Steelers ain't happening.
Gonna happen.
Ain't happening. So I guess on the podcast, the Pivot podcast, I don't know if you've seen that. I've seen that. It's almost like that. The one with Ocho Cinco and them. What is that podcast called? I Am Athlete. I guess on there, Antonio Brown. It was noted that the free agent wide receiver Antonio Brown can make a return to play for the Black and Gold during an appearance on the Pivot podcast. And Mike Tomlin came back saying, I quote, "Y'all know that ain't happening." In terms of putting a helmet on and running out of the tunnel and playing ball and stuff like that, man, Tomlin said, he's moved on and we've moved on. We can sit around and chop that up like it's a realistic conversation, but we know that's not realistic. So, AB, you done burnt too many bridges out there in Pittsburgh, bro. You will not be heading back to the black and gold, black and gold, black and gold, black and gold. You will not.
And I hope they at least give him an opportunity to come back in a 1 year contract. And so I'm one day, so he can retire a Steeler if that's what he deems the way he necessarily wants to
He won't
do.
do that. It won't happen. I don't. I personally feel as though Antonio Brown has that sale that
He's
ship
burnt.
has
He burnt that bridge altogether.
that to even for him to even come back and get hit into retire as a Steeler. I do, bro, and that's sad. That's sad because of his best years, of course, we all know was out there in Pittsburgh. And for you to burn that bridge to the ground to where there's nothing but ash, you can't even rebuild that joker, bro. Yeah, that's
You
bad.
know, AB is petty. He assigned with somebody else and for 1 year, so he could retire as that team. One day, so
So
he retired
what
as
would
that
be
team.
cool? What you know what would be cool though? If I was Antonio Brown, so since I done burnt bridges and I can't sign with Philly. I mean with Pittsburgh, I sign with Philly.
Or
I
go or,
Baltimore
who would you say is Baltimore is Pittsburgh's arch enemy nemesis?
or Dallas or
That's not go sign
Dallas,
a one day
Dallas,
with
San
sign
Francisco.
a 1 day with Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas or San Francisco. One of them two.
Sign
Yeah.
a 1 day with them, and so I can
Mhm.
go in as so I can get in the hall as them.
Hall is one of them. Yeah,
Yeah.
Dallas, San Francisco, one of them. That's their nemesis right now because them the only two. Them the only two teams that's closest to the
Yes.
Patriots with championships. Yeah, them the only two teams that's close enough. That's close to the Patriots with championships is Pittsburgh, Dallas, and San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, one of them. So yeah, that's his mark. That's the nemesis for Pittsburgh, in my
Mm-hmm.
opinion, and that's just me. But yeah, it's bad. It's sad. I hate that. I hate that. That's happened, but it is what it is, man. Um, hopefully we may get an opportunity to see, excuse me, AB play again. I'm gonna have to check out that podcast by the Pivot podcast to see if he's
Mm-hmm.
talking about even returning back to play because no one's heard anything say of them coming back. No one's even made any notion about AB playing for someone or even anybody looking at him playing for anyone. But guess what I did see yesterday though, Trey, is crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is I saw something, I'm always surfing YouTube and stuff. And guess who's on YouTube a lot, doing a lot of talking? Warren Sapp, man. Warren,
Really?
Warren Sapp is saying a lot. He said a lot about for one, he said a lot about
Gruden.
not Gruden. What was the thing that just happened? He said something about. Well, one he said Colin Kaepernick's tryout with the Raiders was horrifying. He said it was horrible. Now, how do
What?
yeah, I didn't get to check out the actual YouTube yet. I'm gonna look at it, but he said he had a horrible tryout. He said he had a horrible. Now, how he knows this, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if he had wind of it from somebody told him that, or if he was actually physically there. Because we all do know that Warren Sapp did play with the Raiders at one point.
So he might have been there for the.
He could have been there. He could have been there. So I don't know. Like I said, I gotta go look at it. he did talk about that. But it was something else in which he spoke about, and I forget what it was. He spoke about something else in regards to somebody that something that just happened in regards to. And let me see. I ain't got. I know I ain't got to go too far because I was just looking at it and I was like, wow, Warren Sapp just all in the what you call about talking about people right now. What did he? What was it? He said something. And I was like, damn, Warren, you going in on him like that, dog? Um, man, what was that? Oh, about the it was about Deshaun Watson, which I just said I'm
Okay.
not talking about. I just said, well, yeah, he was like, yeah, he went in on Deshaun Watson. Teaches his girls and 230 million guarantees. Like, really? He got all these women in 233 and still got $230 million. He's like, where they do that at? But it is what it is. But yeah, Warren Sapp, he didn't came out of hiding. He didn't came out of hiding. So it is what it is. But yeah, he talked about a couple of things. A couple of 7 hours, 59 minutes, and 22, 21, 20 seconds countdown to the NBA 2022 draft.
hmm
Be sure to
It's
tune
about to
in
go down.
8 Eastern, 7 Central. Check out the draft. We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Yep, be on doing it. So, of course, that's our time for today. We greatly appreciate y'all being in formation with us this morning to discuss. Of course, tomorrow we'll have some things to discuss. Viewpoints on draft positions, draft stock, if they made teams better as we get ready. A week later, the NBA will be with their free agent season. It
Yep.
will be full in
Week
effect.
from today,
Going
right?
get ready to start. Yep,
It's next Thursday, right? Yeah.
Yep, next Thursday, which we'll be able to talk about that as well. See what you're doing, your favorite teams going on. See where they hate. See who speaks from uh, a position of what, that's just what it is. Much more to be talked about. And maybe less NBA, NFL talk. Like I said, another the question I didn't get to bring up today, but I definitely bring up tomorrow as I would like to engage with that. Uh, a conversation, a little NCF, college football, a little college football conversation. So be sure to tune in tomorrow, be in formation as we go forth and we continue on the talks. If you haven't been checking for it, I know we sit up and talk about we're trying to get that season revved up. If you follow us on Facebook, First Formation Facebook, be sure to go into the groups and go into and get into the our flag fantasy football league group, so that way we can know your interest in being a part of it. It's got a couple of polls on there in which we like to get your intake on, so that way we can go ahead and continue to solidify this season. As again, I speak here and now, as Bishop would say, time stamp it. I'm that dude. Enough said. I don't do no talking. I'm that dude. Um,
I'm gonna just put that up there.
exactly. That's exactly what it is. Let your game do the talking. You have nothing to lose except but to perform. Watch and
Yeah.
see. Y'all gonna see it unfold in front of your very eyes. It's gonna be one of those moments. Y'all know how everyone loves Michael Jackson, the Beatles, Elvis Presley. That's gonna be one of those moments. You're gonna be like, oh, you couldn't believe it. You couldn't believe it. He said it and he did it. That's all it is.
Anywho, y'all have a great Thursday. Enjoy, be safe, have fun with it. God bless you. We'll definitely see y'all tomorrow. Be sure to tune in to First Formation Monday through Friday, 09 to 1100 hours. And for you civilian personnel, that's 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. Y'all have a good one. Y'all be safe.
We out.